ready.
Welcome to another episode of Buff in the Rough. Have you ever heard of a stud dog benefit auction? Do you know how they work and why they're needed? We'll answer those questions and more with Randy Workman. Help me welcome Randy to the program. Well, hey Randy, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Well, listen, you're going to be the second person that's ever been on the program twice. I don't know if that's that's a good thing. I don't know if that's an honor or not. I think it is. I think it's a big deal.
But it would be an honor if it wasn't for this reason.
It is, and so I'm really happy to have you back on. I'm not happy that it's under the circumstances that we're going to talk about today. For folks that maybe haven't heard about some of the devastation that happened with storms recently up in the West Virginia area, I believe, or was this Pennsylvania?
It is in the southwestern edge of PA, got some of it too, but where the one we're going to talk about is it's in the northern panhandle of West Virginia, Ohio County. Okay.
Well, that's a good place to start. So could you just tell us a little bit about what happened?
Well, Saturday night we got weather forecast predicting chances of flash flooding and very heavy storms. And the area right there by Triadelphia, Valley Grove, Wheeling area, little small area, it's really kind of an isolated area, not a very big area. My understanding is they got they're predicting, or they're guessing that they approximately got 4 inches of rain in a half hour to 40 minutes. So they got dumped on. Yeah,
that's a lot of water for that area.
It is, and it's a hilly area. The hills are pretty steep. The valleys aren't very wide, and when the water comes off those hills, there was no place for it to go other than outside the banks of the creeks, and it caused a ton of damage.
And we're here to talk about one of our fellow rabbit hunters in particular. So could you talk a little bit about Justin Shafer and maybe a timeline of kind of what was going on? I think you were actually at a hunt with him right about this time.
We had our Terry Limley Memorial Hunt this Saturday and Sunday, and he actually came and hunted in it Saturday, and he hunted both rounds Saturday. He went home, actually not planning on coming back the next day, and he was going to let Stephen Ellis run bougie for him, and he left bougie with Stephen, and he went home. He texted me about possibly leaving bougie here at my house once Stephen got done, because that's an easier place for him to come get her. And I said, no problem. And an hour or so later, he had a storm that wiped out everything he has. Mm-hmm. So Sunday, he definitely didn't come back Sunday. We didn't find out about him having this until mid to late day Sunday, and probably middle of the day is when we found out he had a good bit of damage. And later in the day, we found out how much. But yeah, he missed Sunday's hunt, and he missed pretty much everything since then because of the damage he's had.
And it's my understanding that because of that amount of rain or flash floods, and he lost a lot. He lost kennels, garage, vehicles, and a lot more. And one thing that I've learned just from you and from some other folks, as part of that garage, he's a painter. And he lost a lot of his tools and pretty much his ability to go out and work. I mean, it's really been devastated. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. He told me today that some of his tools, a small percentage of his tools, is at his job site, so they should be safe. But his work van, it was up on his work van pretty high, clear above the engine, and a lot of his tools and the stuff he takes to work every day is in that van, covered with mud, water, and probably lost. And what wasn't in the van was in a little shed that is now 400 yards downstream. And when I talked to him today, he hadn't got into that shed yet, but he was trying to get into it. When I left, he was going over to try to tear the walls off of it so he could get into the doors were blocked shut. And there was no way to get into it other than to start tearing the walls off. And he was going to try to see if he could save anything out of it.
That just sounds terrible. I can't imagine going through that and losing literally everything. That's just terrible. I feel so badly for Justin. Out of this came an idea from someone to put together a stud dog benefit auction to try to raise some money for their family and just help them just get by until they can figure things out moving forward. So could you tell us a little bit about the stud dog benefit auction, kind of maybe a little bit about how it works and how people find it? I think this is on Facebook.
Yes, it's on Facebook. The Stud Dog Auction. It's Allison Merritt. She steps up and does these. She is amazing at doing them. She stepped up and said she would run this auction for us, and she already did a couple of them. So I think it might be a little bit easier for her. She can just switch names on things and repost it. But yeah, it's a Stud Dog benefit auction, and you just get on Facebook, and I'm not sure what you have to put into it, but it's a Stud Dog benefit Allison Merritt through Facebook and Justin Shafer's name, and there's a bunch of stud dogs already donated, and people are amazing all over the country from all different formats have donated studs to it. So it's a way to try to get him a little bit of money to try to keep him going until he can get back to work and do what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think this is wonderful. I think it's a great idea. One of the things that I've learned by talking to people all over the country for the past few years about rabbit hunting, when I ask them, why do you do this? Why do you continually go out and chase these hounds and chase these rabbits? And most people tell me that it's the camaraderie, it's the friendships you make over the years, it's the people you meet. That's what it's all about. And this is what I can't think of a better way to act on that and act on those friendships and supporting your fellow houndsmen than to take part in this. And I understand you don't necessarily have to bid on a stud dog to contribute. You can contact Allison and certainly I think just donate directly. But this is a great time. If you're looking for a stud dog, this is a great time. So, Randy, do you have anything else before I get into actually breaking down and talking about some of the studs that are on there?
Probably the only thing that I would want to add is to give Justin Shafer some credit for his character. Talking to him today, he is trying to save chainsaws out of his shed. He has lost pretty much everything. And he was wanting to get those chainsaws out of his shed, try to dry them out, get them running. And he was thinking that he can't paint houses right now anyway because he doesn't have any tools, and it's forecasted for rain, so it's hard to be a painter outside on the outside of a house when it's raining. And he was hoping to get them saws started and running so that he could walk downstream and help other neighbors that had damage as bad as him or worse than him. Some of his houses and the damage downstream from his is it's amazing to see how bad. I mean, there was houses and everything gone. I mean, the whole houses, garages, it's just empty fields where it was houses before. But and just to hear him already trying to get a saw running out of a flooded shed to go help other people.
Yeah, what a testament to his character.
Exactly. I mean, he's trying to get into a shed, which you don't even know if his saws will run once he gets in that shed because it floated 400 yards, rolling down a creek, and that's what he's trying to do, get him out. But he's already thinking that if he has a rain day from work and he can't go paint, well, he might as well go help the neighbors.
Wow. I tell you, it's interesting to hear these things, but it's also interesting to see them. And one of the things by going to Facebook and looking at the stud dog benefit auction for Justin Shafer, you can see some of the pictures. I think Allison.
Some of those pictures, I swiped some of those pictures and sent them to Allison. They were on a couple of local group pages here where some people went down and taken pictures and drove by and posted them. So I screenshot them and sent them to her. And I actually drove by it going down to visit Justin today. And when I drove by, I saw the damage that are in the pictures. It's there, and the pictures don't do it justice. It was bad. There was people today standing in creeks, and you could tell with the clothes they were dressed in. They were the people that were still looking for lost lives. They were looking for the people that were still in the streams that they know people are still missing. Mm-hmm. Seeing that firsthand, it
The power of floods is incredible. And one of the pictures that really sticks in my mind were the cars. There were all these cars like just toppled over. They look like little toys, just out in the middle of a river.
Yep, right out in the fields, they're just dumped out. One of them I saw right before I got to Justin's. There was a white one in the creek, and Justin's is just another quarter of a mile upstream. And I went up and was talking to him, and he said there's a car right over there by my shed. And I said, I think I saw it. And he's like, oh no, from my shed to where the one you can see when you come up the road, he said there's like 4 or 5 of them back in there where you can't see them. And that's just on like a 300-yard stretch of the stream. There's 4 or 5 that are back in the trees you can't see, and this is over I don't know, probably at least a 5-mile stretch of the stream, so who knows how many cars are in that creek and along that creek.
Thank you, Randy, so much for sharing the information that you have with us and giving us an update on Justin and kind of what happened. And I think this is a great time to kind of transition into the stud dog benefit auction. So folks, here's a little more information about the stud dog benefit auction for Justin Shafer and family. And that's how you'll find it listed on Facebook. A couple of things, just housekeeping. If you want to know how the stud dog auction is going to work, here's how it's going to work. Send your dog's name that you're willing to stud to Allison Merritt. And she'll also need a photo, the location, and pedigree. The auction begins immediately and will end at 9 p.m. on Sunday, June 22nd. Payments must be made within 24 hours of the end of the auction. Failure to pay within time frame will allow the second highest bidder to win the stud. Please only comment bids. Bids must be in $5 increments, with the starting bid being $20. They'll also be accepting monetary donations during the time of the stud auction. All, in capital letters, all proceeds will go to the Shafer family. And Allison also has listed on the Facebook page a thank you for supporting the Shafer family and this time of loss and devastation. What I'm going to do now is just kind of tell you about some of the studs that are listed so far. And this is a fluid thing, guys. So this will change. There will be studs added, I'm sure, even after I post this. But I think the last check, it was up to maybe 60-something, close to 70 different studs. But let me just tell you some of their names and the information that you can find on Facebook. The first one is Champion Wide-Eyed Gentleman Jim, whose owner is Harley Swigert out of West Virginia. Another is Grand Hunting Beagle Champion 2, High Strung Crank. Owner is Emmett Whipke. Next up, we have Blaze, who made it to the quarterfinals of the PKC World, and Hopper, who came from Cletus Shaw. They're in Miami, Oklahoma. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion Broken Guns Pure Chaos, Jeremy Board, West Virginia. Willie, owned by Corey Tyler, in Cameron, West Virginia. Little Pack Champion Licking River JJ, owned by Jonathan Johnson, Pikeville, Kentucky. Little Pack Champion Chicken Little, also owned by Jonathan Johnson in Pikeville, Kentucky. Little Pack Champion Tyson 22, another Jonathan Johnson dog, Pikeville, Kentucky. Lost Creek Slim Shady, owned by Justin Johnson in Denton, Maryland. Grand Champion, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion Hall of Fame, Rocky Run Coppertop, Jason Unzicker, Danville, Iowa. High Prairie Ghost, owned by Aiden Little in Seymour, Missouri. Little Pack Grand Champion, Little Pack Bench Champion Shady Hills, WFO Grummy, owned by Sam Hall in Pikeville, Kentucky. Little Pack Reserve Champion Mo, owned by Brian Taylor and Daniel Fox in Piketon, Ohio. Diamond Little Gunner, owned by TJ Diamond. I hope I get this next one right. UKC Hunting Beagle Champion, PKC Champion, Little Pack Champion, Spittin' Drums Rough and Rowdy, owned by Curtis Warren and Tim Cocco. Boyles Leave It to Beaver, owned by Kenny Boyles, Clayton, Delaware. Grand Hunting Beagle 3, Heat 'em Up Rowdy Reputation, owned by Mike Ayers, Western New York. ABC Little Pack Champion, KBK Smoke, owned by Antoine Jones of Cove City, North Carolina. Field Champion, I think this is Little Pack. Live Action Cooper's Big Pickle, owned by Derek Foster, West Harrison, Indiana. Wolf's Red Wolf is a PKC Gold Champion, owned by Matthew Wolf. Grand Rabbit Champion, Dusty Rhodes, owned by Jonathan Johnson. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Big Meadows Black Hicks, who is also a Big 5 winner out of a Butcher Gypsy Cross, owned by Keaton Hamburger. The 2024 World Hunt runner-up, I believe this is UKC, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion H&H Black Boomer, owned by Keaton Hamburger and Claysville, Pennsylvania. Bustin' Brush Midnight Joker, owned by Logan Russell in Elkton, Maryland. And I'm sorry about some of these titles. Little Pack Champion, Grand Beagle Champion, Main Events, Killa Mason. Hunting Beagle Champion, East Coast Troublemaker, owned by Zach Boyles, Clayton, Delaware. PK Champion, H&H Swingin' Dozer, owned by R.J. Hammonds. PKC Champion, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Rogan's Butt, Jerry Rod Walker. Field Champion, S&J Undercover Boss in Lima, Ohio. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion 3, Halt and Ready Shafer's Tux, owned by Tracy and Jacob Halt in Big Springs, West Virginia. World Hunting Beagle Champion, National Hunting Beagle Champion, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Grand Champion, Black Saddle Yogi Bear, owned by Jacob Coons in Gloucester, Ohio. Hunting Beagle Champion, Gobbler Creek Mac Man, owned by Jaden Miller, Hedgeville, West Virginia. Bustin' Brushed Baked Ziti, owned by Craig Miller, Elkton, Maryland. Field Champion, Big Piney, They Call Me Chuck, owned by Charles Circle D. Kennels. Hunting Beagle Champion, Showtime Son of a Legend, owned by Maston Aldridge, Denton, North Carolina. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion 3, Cottontail Crazy Buzz, owned by Randy Workman, Pennsylvania. National Champion, Hunting Beagle Champion, Heat 'em Up Gus, owned by Randy Moore, Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion 4, Brush Axes Charlie Pride, owned by Matt Turner, Utica, Ohio. PKC Champion, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Briar Bustin' Sparky, owned by Emmett Whipke. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion 5, JJ Opie Blue Pasture, owned by JJ Kennels, Middletown, Indiana. The Boogeyman, a.k.a. Crackhead, owned by Tim Profit. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, PKC Champion, Briar Bustin' 9, owned by Emmett Whipke. Hunting Beagle Champion, Dunn Hills Comanche, owned by Jacob Lamper in Towanda, Pennsylvania. This is not a stud, but it's 1 month training for an Any Age of Hound solo embrace by Josh Boyd in Hasey, Virginia. Another one, 2 weeks in starting pen with priority scheduling. Donation is for 2 openings offered separately or together. High bidder has option of 1 or both spots. This is for Warren Sturts. World Hunting Beagle Champion, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Hall of Fame, Grand Champion PCH, TNT's 3MC Chief, Trevor McQuain. 30 days of training and conditioning for any age dog. We'll hunt over them in October through February by Brad Neff. PKC Silver Champion, Buckeye Valley's Rocky, owned by Brian Taylor of Buckeye Valley Kennels in Piketon, Ohio. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Heat 'em Up Spot, owned by Derek Bowen, Salem, West Virginia. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Heat 'em Up Hair Trigger, owned by Jacob Craig, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Lost Creek Biggie Ballsworth, owned by Justin Johnson, Denton, Maryland. Thor, owned by Chase Rubel in Salineville, Ohio. And Thor is a Little Pack Champion and a Hunting Beagle Champion as well. Hunting Beagle Champion JS Tail Chasing Bola, owned by Rick Stout in LaGrange, Ohio. Field Champion Pull the Trigger's Dirty Pigpen, Matt Spencer. Little Pack Champion, I think this is French, Artilleur de Foxy, also known as Gunner. Sorry guys, I took Spanish in high school. Owned by Daniel Fox. World Hunting Beagle Champion, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, TNT's 3MC, Raising Cane, Trevor McQuain. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Hall of Fame, PR Deep River Bad Company, owned by Kristen Bundy in Lexington, North Carolina. Dual Grand America's Stylish Trump, who was also the 2020 UKC Reserve World Champion, Tom Ingram, in Parkersburg, West Virginia. AKC Field Champion Large Pack, Bone Boxes Blue Spook, owned by Josh Stouffer. Woodland Ghost Buster, owned by Jake Cumberledge, Brave, Pennsylvania. Field Champion Buckeyes Locomotive, owned by Delbert Erb, Sugar Creek, Ohio. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Grand Champion Hyde Holler Clean 'em Up Clyde, owned by Jacob Coons. Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, PKC Champion America's Gold Digger, owned by Zach Brandenburg, Moscow, Ohio. Old Boy Blue, also known as Seven, who was the reserve PKC World Champion in 2025. He's a PKC Silver Champion and has 4 wins in UKC, all before 2 years old. This breeding will be done by Tracy Livingston, and it will be an AI breeding. Old Boy Blue 7, Denny Hucks. This one's a little different. It's not a stud fee, but it is a male pup for auction, donated by Zach Boyles. And Zach says you can pick up the puppy if you'd like. It can be delivered to the McVeigh. And this puppy is out of Hunting Beagle Champion East Coast Troublemaker and Heat 'em Up Big Girl. And Big Girl is out of Big Meadows Black Eagle and Heat 'em Up Shenango Princess. NKC Little Pack Champion, PKC Champion, Reserve Youth World Champion, Fast Lanes Gus, Elijah Porter in West Virginia. CN Little Pack Champion, Field Champion in Little Pack, Vanilla Brook Black Magic, owned by Steve Monk, Fonda, New York. And that's what we have so far, guys. As I'm working on this, it's close to noon on the 17th. So there's time for other people to put their studs on here. I'd encourage you not just to take the list that I just shared with you as the end-all be-all list, because it is not. There will be constant changes to it and people being added to it. So if you have any questions, and I'm sorry for the names or the titles that I may have messed up, I'm just trying to read straight off of what's on the page. But if you do go to the Stud Dog Benefit Auction for Justin Shafer and Family Facebook page, you'll have more information. You'll get to see pictures of every single hound. It's a great looking group. Like I said, there's close to 70 hounds. The studs are from many different registries, some of them dual registered, and very successful hounds and all different kinds of formats. World champions, reserve world champions, you name it, Big 5 hunt winners. So there's something out there for everybody. And one of the things that I noticed just reading through these is how many hounds from just different parts of the country. They're stretched from New York all the way down the coast and the middle part of the country and out to the boys in Missouri. And I mean, it's just, there's a hound anywhere if you guys are interested. And if you're not, you can always just donate directly. So I'd encourage you to go early and often to check those bids. And if you have any questions, please just contact Allison Merritt. She's just a click away. And again, I thank you for just taking part in this. It's a wonderful opportunity to support somebody in need that's in a part of our hound family. So thank you again. Well, Randy, is there anything else as we wrap up?
I think that's all. I mean,
Okay.
I say Justin lost his dogs, his kennels, in a devastating way. So if anything you guys can do, anything anybody could do to help Justin out, I mean, it would be appreciated. His family could use the help.
Well, Randy, thank you so much. I know this was kind of short notice, and I called you, and you were so gracious with your time. You said, yes, absolutely, I'll get on and help you out with this podcast to help spread the word. So I thank you so much for making time for me today on such short notice.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Randy.
Everyone pray for Justin and his family and all the other victims down there. It's rough.
Well said. Thank you, Randy.
All right. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Thank you for listening to Buff in the Rough. And remember to like and subscribe if you want to be notified when we have new content available. And please send comments and suggestions to buffintherough@gmail.com.